Train your brain to dominate any situation. Mental strategies to stay calm, sharp, and in control. By T.M. Light. Description: This book is a powerful guide to building mental strength, emotional control, and unshakable confidence. It reveals proven strategies to help you stay calm under pressure, think clearly in high-stakes situations, and make confident decisions fast. Learn how to control your thoughts, sharpen your focus, and develop resilience that cannot be broken. Designed for personal growth and peak performance, this book empowers you to master your mindset and take control of any situation. Transform your thinking, boost your confidence, and unlock your full potential with practical mental training techniques. Chapter Outline. Introduction: The mind is your greatest weapon. Chapter 1: Understanding the power of your mind. Chapter 2: Mastering emotional control. Chapter 3: Building unshakable mental toughness. Chapter 4: The art of staying calm under pressure. Chapter 5: Sharpening your focus and clarity. Chapter 6: Controlling your thoughts before they control you. Chapter 7: Strategic thinking in high-stakes situations. Chapter 8: Reading situations and people instantly. Chapter 9: Building confidence that cannot be shaken. Chapter 10: Becoming mentally dominant in everyday life. Conclusion: The power of a trained mind. Introduction: The mind is your greatest weapon. There is one force within you that determines how far you go in life, how you respond to challenges, and how you rise when pressure mounts. It is not your talent. It is not your background. It is not even your circumstances. It is your mind. Your mind is your greatest weapon, and when trained correctly, it becomes the most powerful advantage you will ever possess. Many people spend years trying to improve their external skills, believing that success is built on what they can do with their hands, their voice, or their opportunities. But beneath all of that lies something far more important. It is the way you think. It is how you respond when things don't go your way. It is how you handle pressure, uncertainty, and setbacks. This is where real success is determined. Mental strength is what separates those who rise from those who fall. Two people can have the same level of talent, the same opportunities, and the same starting point, yet their outcomes can be completely different. Why? Because one remains calm, focused, and in control, while the other becomes overwhelmed, reactive, and uncertain. Talent may open the door, but mental strength determines whether you walk through it. Luck may play a role in moments, but it does not sustain success. What sustains success is your ability to stay composed when things become difficult. It is your ability to think clearly when others panic. It is your ability to keep moving forward when others give up. This is what gives you the edge. This is what makes you unstoppable. However, there is a hidden cost that many people never consider. It is the cost of losing control under pressure. When your mind is not trained, stress takes over. Emotions cloud your judgment. You react instead of respond. You make decisions that you later regret. Opportunities slip away, not because you were not capable, but because you were not in control of your mind in that moment. Think about how many times pressure has affected your performance. How many times you knew what to do but couldn't execute, because your mind was overwhelmed. How many times doubt, fear, or anxiety held you back. These moments are not signs of weakness. They are signs of an untrained mind. The good news is that your mind can be trained. Just like a muscle, it can be strengthened, conditioned, and developed over time. You are not born with a fixed level of mental strength. You build it. You shape it. You train it through consistent effort and awareness. When you train your body, you do not expect instant results. You understand that strength is built through repetition, discipline, and persistence. The same applies to your mind. Every time you choose to stay calm instead of reacting, you strengthen your control. Every time you push through discomfort, you build resilience. Every time you focus despite distractions, you sharpen your clarity. This process does not happen overnight, but it does happen. And once it begins, it creates a powerful transformation. You start to notice that situations that once overwhelmed you now feel manageable. Challenges that once caused stress now feel like opportunities. Your reactions become more intentional. Your decisions become more precise. At the core of this transformation is the connection between calmness, clarity, and control. These three elements work together to create mental dominance. When you are calm, your mind is not clouded by emotion. You are able to think clearly. When your mind is clear, you can see situations for what they truly are, not what they feel like in the moment. And when you have clarity, you gain control over your actions and your outcomes. Calmness is not about being passive or indifferent. It is about being steady. It is about maintaining your composure, even when everything around you feels chaotic. It is the ability to slow down your internal state, so that you can respond with intention rather than impulse. Clarity is what allows you to make sense of situations. It is the ability to focus on what matters and filter out what does not. When your mind is clear, you are not distracted by noise or overwhelmed by complexity. You see the path forward and you move with confidence. Control is the result of calmness and clarity. It is the ability to direct your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions in a way that serves you. When you are in control, you are not at the mercy of your circumstances. You are shaping your response to them. Together, these elements create a powerful state of mind. A state where you are not easily shaken. A state where you remain focused and composed, regardless of the situation. A state where you are able to perform at your best, even under pressure. This is what you will gain from mastering your mind. You will gain the ability to stay calm when others panic. You will gain the ability to think clearly when others become overwhelmed. You will gain the ability to act with precision when others hesitate. You will begin to trust yourself more. You will feel more confident in your decisions because they are no longer driven by emotion alone. You will approach challenges with a sense of control rather than fear. You will stop second-guessing yourself and start moving forward with certainty. Your performance will improve, not because you have changed your external circumstances, but because you have changed how you respond to them. You will handle pressure with confidence. You will navigate uncertainty with clarity. You will face challenges with resilience. And perhaps most importantly, you will develop a sense of inner stability. A calm, grounded confidence that does not depend on external validation or perfect conditions. You will know that no matter what situation you face, you have the mental strength to handle it. This is the true power of a trained mind. It is not about controlling the world around you. It is about controlling yourself within it. It is about becoming someone who can adapt, respond, and thrive in any situation. As you move forward in this journey, remember that your mind is not your limitation. It is your greatest tool. The more you train it, the more powerful it becomes. And once you learn to master it, there is very little that can stand in your way. Chapter 1: Understanding the power of your mind. Everything you do begins in one place, your mind. Every decision you make, every reaction you have, every action you take is first processed through your thoughts. Your mind is not just a passive observer of your life. It is the control center. It interprets the world, assigns meaning to situations, and determines how you respond. Whether you rise or fall under pressure is not decided by the situation itself, but by how your mind processes it. Most people underestimate just how powerful their mind is. They believe that their reactions are automatic, that stress simply happens to them, or that pressure is something they must endure. But the truth is far more empowering. Your brain is constantly shaping your reality. It filters information, prioritizes what matters, and influences how you feel in any given moment. Once you understand this, you begin to realize that you are not at the mercy of your circumstances. You are at the mercy of your thinking, until you learn to control it. Your brain is designed for survival, not for peak performance. This is an important distinction. Its primary job is to protect you from danger, not to help you excel under pressure. This is why, in stressful situations, your brain often defaults to fear, doubt, and hesitation. It is trying to keep you safe, not push you forward. While this may have been useful in primitive environments, it can become a limitation in modern life, where success often requires calmness, clarity, and decisive action. Every time you face a situation, your brain rapidly interprets it based on past experiences and beliefs. It asks a simple question: is this safe or dangerous? If it perceives danger, even if that danger is only psychological, it triggers a stress response. Your heart rate increases, your breathing changes, and your focus narrows. This reaction can be helpful in genuine emergencies, but in everyday situations like conversations, decisions, or challenges, it often works against you. This is how your brain shapes your reactions and decisions. It is not just responding to what is happening, but to what it believes is happening. Two people can face the same situation, yet respond completely differently. One remains calm and focused, while the other becomes overwhelmed. The difference lies in their mental interpretation. This brings us to one of the most important distinctions you must understand: the difference between reactive thinking and intentional thinking. Reactive thinking is automatic. It is fast, emotional, and often driven by habit. When you react, you are not fully in control. You are responding based on impulse, past conditioning, or immediate emotion. This is what causes people to say things they regret, make rushed decisions, or freeze under pressure. Reactive thinking is easy because it requires no effort. It is the default mode of an untrained mind. Intentional thinking, on the other hand, is deliberate. It is calm, controlled, and focused. When you think intentionally, you pause before you respond. You consider your options. You choose your actions, rather than letting them happen automatically. This type of thinking requires awareness and discipline, but it gives you control. The difference between these two modes of thinking can determine the outcome of your life. Reactive thinking keeps you stuck in patterns. It limits your potential and creates inconsistency. Intentional thinking, however, allows you to act with purpose. It enables you to perform at your best, even in challenging situations. Most people lose control in high-pressure situations because they have not trained themselves to shift from reactive to intentional thinking. When pressure increases, their brain defaults to its natural state. Emotions rise, thoughts become scattered, and control is lost. It is not because they are incapable, but because they are unprepared. Pressure exposes the strength of your mind. It reveals whether you are in control or whether your reactions are controlling you. In calm situations, almost anyone can appear confident and composed. But when stress is introduced, the difference becomes clear. Those who have trained their minds remain steady. Those who have not become overwhelmed. The reason for this is simple. Under pressure, your brain seeks the fastest path. It relies on habits, not logic. If your habit is to panic, you will panic. If your habit is to hesitate, you will hesitate. But if your habit is to stay calm and think clearly, you will do exactly that. This is where the concept of rewiring your mindset becomes powerful. Your brain is not fixed. It is adaptable. It can change based on your experiences, your habits, and your focus. This ability is known as neuroplasticity. It means that you can train your brain to respond differently, even in situations that once felt overwhelming. Rewiring your mindset begins with awareness. You must first recognize your current patterns. How do you react under pressure? Do you become anxious, defensive, or uncertain? Do you overthink or freeze? These patterns are not permanent. They are simply learned responses. Once you become aware of them, you can begin to challenge them. Instead of accepting your reactions as inevitable, you start to question them. You ask yourself whether your response is helping or limiting you. This creates a space for change. The next step is repetition. Just like training a muscle, rewiring your mind requires consistent effort. Each time you choose to respond differently, you strengthen a new pathway in your brain. At first, it may feel unnatural. You may have to consciously remind yourself to stay calm or think clearly. But over time, this new way of thinking becomes automatic. For example, when faced with a stressful situation, your instinct may be to react immediately. But if you train yourself to pause, take a breath, and assess the situation, you begin to shift from reactive to intentional thinking. This small change can have a significant impact. Confidence is also a key part of this process. When you believe that you can handle a situation, your brain responds differently. It does not perceive the same level of threat. This reduces stress and allows you to think more clearly. Confidence is not something you are born with. It is built through experience and repetition. Dominance in this context does not mean controlling others. It means controlling yourself. It means having mastery over your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. When you achieve this, you are no longer easily influenced by external pressures. You remain grounded, focused, and in control. As you continue to develop this mindset, you will begin to notice changes. Situations that once triggered stress will feel more manageable. Your reactions will become more measured. Your decisions will become more precise. You will feel a greater sense of control over your life. This transformation is not about eliminating challenges. Challenges will always exist. It is about changing how you respond to them. It is about building a mind that works for you, not against you. Understanding the power of your mind is the first step. It is the foundation upon which everything else is built. When you realize that your thoughts shape your reality, you gain the ability to shape your thoughts. And when you learn to shape your thoughts, you begin to shape your outcomes. This is where true control begins. Chapter 2: Mastering Emotional Control. There is a moment in every high-pressure situation where everything changes. Your heart starts to race, your thoughts begin to scatter, and your emotions rise to the surface with intensity. In that moment, you either take control or you lose it. This is where emotional control becomes the defining factor between success and regret, clarity and confusion, dominance and defeat. Emotions are not your enemy. They are signals. They are powerful natural responses designed to guide you, protect you, and push you to act. But when left unchecked, they can overwhelm your thinking, distort your perception, and lead you into decisions that do not serve you. Mastering emotional control is not about eliminating emotions. It is about learning how to manage them so they work for you instead of against you. In stressful moments, emotions take over because your brain is wired to prioritize survival. When you perceive pressure, conflict, or uncertainty, your brain activates an automatic response designed to protect you. This response is fast, instinctive, and emotional. It does not wait for logic or careful reasoning. It reacts. This is why, under pressure, people often say things they regret, make impulsive decisions, or freeze entirely. Their emotional system overrides their rational thinking. It is not a lack of intelligence. It is a lack of control. When your brain senses a threat, whether physical or psychological, it triggers a cascade of reactions. Stress hormones are released, your focus narrows, and your body prepares for action. This response can be useful in situations that require immediate action, but in most modern scenarios, it becomes a limitation. Instead of helping you perform, it disrupts your ability to think clearly. Understanding the science behind emotional triggers gives you an advantage. Triggers are not random. They are patterns built over time. They are shaped by your past experiences, your beliefs, and your expectations. When something in your environment matches one of these patterns, your brain reacts instantly. For example, criticism may trigger defensiveness. Uncertainty may trigger anxiety. Pressure may trigger fear or frustration. These reactions feel automatic because they are deeply ingrained. Your brain has learned to associate certain situations with certain emotional responses. But here is the truth that changes everything. Just because a response feels automatic does not mean it is unchangeable. Your brain is capable of adaptation. You can retrain it. You can reshape your responses. But to do that, you must first become aware of your triggers. You must recognize the situations that cause your emotions to rise and understand why they affect you the way they do. Awareness is the first step toward control. When you can identify a trigger, you create a moment of choice. You move from being controlled by your emotions to having the opportunity to manage them. This is where the power of the pause comes in. The pause is one of the most important skills you can develop. It is the ability to create a gap between what you feel and how you respond. In that gap lies your control. When you pause, even for a few seconds, you interrupt the automatic reaction. You give your mind time to catch up with your emotions. You allow logic to re-enter the process. This simple act can completely change the outcome of a situation. The pause does not need to be long. It can be as brief as taking a breath, counting to 3, or simply allowing a moment of silence before you respond. What matters is that you do not react immediately. You give yourself space to choose your response. Breathing plays a crucial role in this process. When emotions rise, your breathing often becomes rapid and shallow. This reinforces the stress response and keeps your body in a heightened state. By slowing your breath, you signal to your brain that you are not in immediate danger. This helps calm your system and restore clarity. As you practice this, you will begin to notice a shift. Situations that once triggered immediate reactions will start to feel more manageable. You will feel less rushed, less overwhelmed, and more in control. But pausing is only the beginning. The next step is to turn your emotional responses into strategic responses. A strategic response is intentional. It is based on your goals, your values, and the outcome you want to create. It is not driven by impulse. It is guided by awareness. To make this shift, you must learn to question your emotions rather than blindly follow them. When you feel a strong emotional reaction, ask yourself what is really happening. Is the situation as threatening as it feels? Is your reaction helping or hurting you? What is the best way to respond in this moment? These questions create clarity. They allow you to step outside of the emotional intensity and view the situation more objectively. This perspective is what gives you control. For example, if you feel anger rising in a conversation, your instinct may be to respond aggressively. But if you pause and reflect, you may realize that reacting in anger will escalate the situation. Instead, you can choose to respond calmly, addressing the issue without creating conflict. If you feel anxiety before a challenge, your instinct may be to avoid it. But if you pause and think strategically, you may recognize that facing the challenge will lead to growth. You can then choose to move forward with focus rather than fear. This shift from emotional reaction to strategic response is what defines emotional mastery. It allows you to act with intention, even in high-pressure situations. It is important to understand that this process requires practice. You will not always get it right. There will be moments when emotions still take over. But each time you become aware, each time you pause, each time you choose a better response, you are strengthening your control. Over time, this becomes a habit. Your default response begins to change. Instead of reacting impulsively, you respond thoughtfully. Instead of being overwhelmed by emotions, you manage them. This does not make you less human. It makes you more effective. You still feel emotions, but you are not controlled by them. You use them as information, not as commands. You remain connected to your feelings, while maintaining control over your actions. This balance is what allows you to perform at your best. It gives you the ability to stay calm in chaos, focused under pressure, and composed in challenging situations. As you continue to develop this skill, you will notice its impact in every area of your life. Your relationships will improve because you communicate with greater clarity and composure. Your decisions will become more precise because they are not clouded by emotion. Your confidence will grow because you trust your ability to handle any situation. You will begin to see emotions not as obstacles but as tools, signals that guide you rather than forces that control you. Mastering emotional control is not about becoming emotionless. It is about becoming powerful. It is about having the ability to feel deeply while remaining grounded and in control. Because in the end, the person who wins in any situation is not the one who avoids emotions, but the one who masters them. Chapter 3: Building Unshakable Mental Toughness. There is a difference between those who collapse under pressure and those who rise through it. It is not always intelligence. It is not always talent. It is something deeper, something quieter and far more powerful. It is mental toughness. Mental toughness is often misunderstood. Many believe it means being hard, emotionless, or unbreakable in a rigid sense. But true mental toughness is not about suppressing emotion or pretending nothing affects you. It is about stability. It is about the ability to remain steady, focused, and in control, regardless of what is happening around you. It is the strength to face discomfort without retreating, to endure uncertainty without losing clarity, and to keep moving forward when everything inside you wants to stop. Mental toughness is not something you are born with. It is something you build. It is forged in moments of pressure, shaped through challenges and strengthened through repetition. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, every time you stay composed instead of reacting, every time you push forward instead of giving up, you are training your mind to become stronger. To understand mental toughness, you must first understand that your mind naturally seeks comfort. It avoids pain, uncertainty, and difficulty. This is not a flaw. It is part of how your brain is designed. But if you allow this instinct to guide your actions, it will limit you. Growth does not happen in comfort. Strength is not built in ease. It is built in resistance. When pressure rises, your mind begins to look for escape. It searches for reasons to slow down, to quit, or to avoid the situation altogether. It tells you that it is too much, too difficult, or too uncertain. These thoughts feel real, but they are not always true. They are simply signals of discomfort. Mental toughness is the ability to recognize these signals without obeying them. It is the ability to say, "I feel this discomfort, but I will not let it control me." This is where strength begins. Staying strong under pressure is not about eliminating stress. It is about managing your response to it. Pressure is inevitable. It is part of growth, part of challenge, and part of any meaningful pursuit. The goal is not to avoid it, but to handle it with control. When you are mentally tough, pressure does not break you. It sharpens you. It forces you to focus. It pushes you to operate at a higher level. Instead of seeing pressure as a threat, you begin to see it as an opportunity. An opportunity to test yourself, to prove your strength and to grow. One of the most important skills in building mental toughness is learning how to stay present. When pressure builds, your mind often jumps ahead. It starts thinking about everything that could go wrong, every possible outcome, every fear and doubt. This creates overwhelm. But when you bring your focus back to the present moment, you regain control. You focus on what is in front of you, what you can do right now, what you can influence. This reduces the intensity of pressure and allows you to act with clarity. Your breathing can help anchor you in the present. Slow, controlled breathing calms your nervous system and brings your attention back to the moment. It creates space between you and your thoughts, allowing you to respond rather than react. Another key aspect of mental toughness is your relationship with discomfort. Most people avoid discomfort because it feels unpleasant. But discomfort is where growth happens. It is where you expand your limits, where you build resilience, and where you develop strength. Training your mind to handle discomfort requires a shift in perspective. Instead of seeing discomfort as something to avoid, you begin to see it as something to embrace. It becomes a signal that you are growing, that you are pushing beyond your current limits. This does not mean seeking pain for its own sake. It means not running from it when it appears. It means staying in situations that challenge you, even when they feel difficult. It means continuing to act despite discomfort. Uncertainty is another challenge that tests mental toughness. The unknown can create anxiety and hesitation. Your mind wants certainty. It wants to know what will happen, how things will unfold, and what the outcome will be. But life does not always provide that clarity. Mental toughness allows you to move forward without certainty. It allows you to act even when you do not have all the answers. It is the confidence to trust yourself in situations where the path is not fully clear. This confidence is not based on knowing everything. It is based on knowing that you can handle whatever comes your way. It is built through experience, through facing challenges, and through proving to yourself that you can adapt. As you continue to train your mind, you begin to develop resilience. Resilience is the ability to recover, to adapt, and to keep going despite setbacks. It is what allows you to stand back up when you are knocked down, to learn from failure and to continue moving forward. Resilience is not about avoiding failure. It is about how you respond to it. When you see failure as a permanent defeat, it weakens you. But when you see it as feedback, as a lesson, as part of the process, it strengthens you. Every setback becomes an opportunity to grow. Every challenge becomes a chance to improve. This mindset transforms your experience. It shifts your focus from what went wrong to what you can do better. Developing resilience also requires self-belief. You must believe that you are capable of overcoming challenges. This belief does not come from positive thinking alone. It comes from action. It comes from facing difficulties, pushing through them and seeing the results. Each time you overcome a challenge, you reinforce your belief in yourself. You prove that you are capable. This creates a cycle of confidence and strength that continues to build over time. It is important to understand that mental toughness does not mean you will never feel doubt, fear, or discomfort. You will feel all of these things. The difference is that they will not control you. You will feel them, acknowledge them, and move forward anyway. This is what makes mental toughness unshakable. It is not dependent on external conditions. It is not affected by circumstances. It comes from within. It is a state of mind that remains steady, regardless of what is happening around you. As you develop this strength, you will begin to notice a transformation. Situations that once felt overwhelming will feel manageable. Challenges that once caused hesitation will feel like opportunities. Your confidence will grow, not because life has become easier, but because you have become stronger. You will no longer fear pressure. You will welcome it. You will no longer avoid discomfort. You will embrace it. You will no longer be shaken by uncertainty. You will move through it with confidence. This is the power of mental toughness. It changes how you experience life. It allows you to face challenges with strength, to handle pressure with control, and to pursue your goals with determination. Every day presents an opportunity to build this strength. Every challenge is a chance to grow. Every moment of discomfort is a step toward resilience. The question is not whether you will face difficulty. You will. The question is how you will respond to it. And when you choose to respond with strength, with focus, and with determination, you begin to build a mind that cannot be broken. Chapter 4: The Art of Staying Calm Under Pressure. There is a moment in every high-stakes situation when everything speeds up. Your heart races, your thoughts scatter, and the pressure begins to build. In that moment, most people lose control. They react too quickly, think too narrowly, and allow emotions to take over. But there is another path. There is a way to remain steady, focused, and composed, even when everything around you feels intense. This is the art of staying calm under pressure. Calmness is not weakness. It is power. It is one of the greatest competitive advantages you can develop. In a world where people are constantly reacting, overthinking, and becoming overwhelmed, the person who remains calm stands out immediately. Calmness allows you to think clearly when others cannot. It allows you to see opportunities where others see problems. It gives you the ability to act with precision rather than panic. When you are calm, you are in control. Your mind is not clouded by fear or anxiety. Your decisions are not rushed or impulsive. You are able to assess situations accurately and respond effectively. This is what makes calmness such a powerful advantage. It is not just about feeling better. It is about performing better. Pressure is inevitable. It appears in conversations, decisions, challenges, and moments that matter. You cannot eliminate pressure, but you can change how you respond to it. Most people allow pressure to control them because they have not trained themselves to manage it. They treat calmness as something that either happens or does not. But calmness is a skill. It can be developed, strengthened, and applied. The first step in mastering calmness is understanding what happens when pressure rises. Your brain perceives pressure as a potential threat. It activates a stress response that prepares your body for action. This response increases your heart rate, speeds up your breathing, and narrows your focus. While this can be useful in certain situations, it often reduces your ability to think clearly. When your focus narrows too much, you miss important details. When your breathing becomes rapid, your body remains in a heightened state. When your thoughts race, clarity disappears. This is why controlling your internal state is essential. You must learn to regulate your body and your mind so that you can remain steady under pressure. One of the most effective ways to control anxiety and stress instantly is through your breathing. Your breath is directly connected to your nervous system. When you breathe slowly and deeply, you send a signal to your brain that you are safe. This reduces the intensity of the stress response and brings your body back to a state of calm. In moments of pressure, take a deliberate breath. Inhale slowly, hold briefly, and exhale with control. Focus on the rhythm of your breathing. This simple act can create an immediate shift in your state. It gives you a moment to reset, to regain control, and to slow down your internal experience. Your posture also plays a role in how you feel. When you are tense, your body often reflects that tension. Your shoulders may tighten, your movements may become rigid, and your overall presence may feel restricted. By consciously relaxing your posture, you can influence your internal state. Stand or sit upright, release tension in your body, and allow yourself to feel grounded. Your thoughts are another area where you can create control. In high-pressure situations, your mind may begin to generate negative or overwhelming thoughts. You may focus on what could go wrong, what you might lose, or how difficult the situation feels. These thoughts amplify stress and reduce your ability to perform. To counter this, you must learn to direct your focus. Instead of allowing your mind to wander, bring your attention to what matters. Focus on the task in front of you, the action you need to take, or the outcome you want to create. This shift in focus reduces noise and increases clarity. Slowing down your mind in chaotic situations is essential. Chaos creates urgency, and urgency often leads to rushed decisions. But speed without clarity is dangerous. When everything feels fast, your goal is not to match that speed, but to slow yourself down internally. This does not mean moving slowly in a physical sense. It means creating mental space. It means giving yourself time to think, even if that time is brief. When you slow down your thoughts, you regain control. You are able to process information more effectively and make better decisions. One way to achieve this is by simplifying your focus. Instead of trying to process everything at once, narrow your attention to one thing at a time. What is the most important action you need to take right now? What is the next step? By breaking down the situation into manageable parts, you reduce overwhelm and increase clarity. Another important aspect of staying calm is your interpretation of the situation. How you perceive pressure influences how you respond to it. If you see pressure as a threat, your body reacts with stress. But if you see it as a challenge or an opportunity, your response changes. Reframing pressure as an opportunity shifts your mindset. It allows you to approach the situation with curiosity and focus, rather than fear. It reminds you that pressure is often a sign that something important is happening. It is a chance to perform, to grow, and to prove your ability. Maintaining composure when everything feels intense requires discipline. It requires you to stay anchored in yourself, even when external conditions are unstable. This means managing your reactions, your tone, and your behavior. Your tone of voice can influence both your own state and the state of others. Speaking in a calm, steady manner reinforces your composure. It signals confidence and control. Even if you feel internal pressure, maintaining a calm tone can help stabilize the situation. Your movements also matter. Quick, erratic movements can reflect and amplify stress. Controlled, deliberate movements create a sense of stability. They show that you are in control, even when the situation is challenging. It is also important to accept that intensity is part of the process. You do not need to eliminate it. You need to manage it. When you accept that pressure is normal, it loses some of its power. You stop resisting it and start working with it. As you practice these techniques, you will begin to notice a shift. Situations that once felt overwhelming will become more manageable. Your reactions will become more controlled. Your confidence will grow. You will start to trust your ability to handle pressure. This trust is powerful. It allows you to approach challenging situations with a sense of calm readiness rather than fear. It changes your relationship with pressure. Over time, calmness becomes your default. It becomes part of how you operate. You no longer need to force it. It becomes natural. This transformation does not happen overnight. It requires practice, awareness, and consistency. But every time you choose to slow down, to breathe, and to focus, you are strengthening this skill. The art of staying calm under pressure is not about avoiding intensity. It is about mastering it. It is about maintaining control when others lose it. It is about thinking clearly when others become overwhelmed. When you develop this ability, you gain a powerful advantage. You become someone who can perform in any situation, someone who can handle challenges with confidence, and someone who remains steady no matter what. Because in the moments that matter most, it is not the fastest or the loudest who succeed. It is the calmest. Chapter 5: Sharpening your focus and clarity. In a world filled with noise, distractions, and constant demands for your attention, the ability to focus has become one of the most valuable skills you can possess. It is no longer enough to simply work hard or stay busy. True power lies in your ability to direct your attention with precision, to think clearly in the midst of chaos, and to make decisions with confidence. This is what it means to sharpen your focus and clarity. Your mind is constantly being pulled in different directions. Notifications, conversations, worries, expectations, and endless streams of information compete for your attention. Each time your focus shifts, your mental energy is divided. Over time, this fragmentation weakens your ability to think deeply, to stay present, and to perform at your best. Distractions do more than interrupt your concentration. They reduce your mental power. When your attention is scattered, your thoughts become less organized. You lose clarity. You become reactive, rather than intentional. Even simple tasks begin to feel more difficult, because your mind is not fully engaged. Every distraction carries a hidden cost. It takes time for your brain to refocus after being interrupted. This means that frequent distractions not only slow you down, but also reduce the quality of your thinking. You may find yourself rereading information, second-guessing decisions, or struggling to maintain momentum. This is not a lack of ability. It is the result of a mind that has been trained to operate in fragments rather than in focus. To regain control, you must understand that focus is not something you either have or do not have. It is a skill. It can be trained, strengthened, and refined. Just like a muscle, your ability to concentrate improves with practice. The more you train your mind to focus deeply, the stronger it becomes. Deep focus is the ability to direct your attention fully toward a single task or thought, without being pulled away. It is a state where distractions fade into the background, and your mind becomes fully engaged. In this state, your thinking becomes sharper, your creativity increases, and your performance improves. Training your brain to focus deeply begins with intention. You must decide what deserves your attention and commit to it fully. This means setting clear priorities and eliminating unnecessary distractions. It means creating an environment where your mind can operate without constant interruption. But external distractions are only part of the challenge. Internal distractions are often more powerful. These are the thoughts that pull your attention away from the present moment. Worries about the future, regrets about the past, and random ideas that arise without warning can all disrupt your focus. To manage these internal distractions, you must develop awareness. Notice when your mind begins to wander. Recognize when your thoughts are pulling you away from what matters. Instead of following those thoughts, gently bring your attention back to the task at hand. This process may need to be repeated many times, but each time you do it, you strengthen your ability to focus. Over time, this becomes easier. Your mind becomes more disciplined. You are able to stay present for longer periods, and your focus becomes more stable. This stability is what allows you to think clearly and act with confidence. Clarity is closely connected to focus. When your attention is sharp, your thoughts become more organized. You are able to see situations more accurately and understand them more deeply. Clarity allows you to cut through confusion and identify what truly matters. One of the biggest obstacles to clarity is mental clutter. Mental clutter is the accumulation of unnecessary thoughts, worries, and distractions that fill your mind. It creates noise, making it difficult to think clearly or make decisions. Overthinking is a common form of mental clutter. It occurs when you continuously analyze a situation without reaching a conclusion. Your mind cycles through possibilities, doubts, and what-ifs, creating a sense of overwhelm. Instead of gaining clarity, you become stuck in indecision. To eliminate mental clutter, you must simplify your thinking. Focus on what is relevant and let go of what is not. Ask yourself what truly matters in the situation. What is the core issue? What is the most important decision? By narrowing your focus, you reduce noise and increase clarity. Another way to clear mental clutter is to externalize your thoughts. Writing down your ideas, concerns, or decisions can help organize your thinking. It allows you to see your thoughts more clearly and separate what is important from what is not. This process creates mental space, making it easier to focus. It is also important to accept that not every thought requires your attention. Your mind will generate countless ideas throughout the day, but not all of them are valuable. Learning to let go of unnecessary thoughts is essential. This does not mean ignoring important issues, but rather choosing where to direct your attention. As your mind becomes clearer, decision-making becomes easier. Clear thinking leads to confident decisions. When you understand a situation, you are able to act without hesitation. You are not paralyzed by doubt or overwhelmed by options. Making clear, confident decisions quickly is a skill that can be developed. It requires trust in your thinking and the ability to act without overanalyzing. This does not mean rushing or being careless. It means being decisive. One of the key factors in decision-making is focus. When your attention is scattered, your decisions become uncertain. You may second-guess yourself or delay action. But when your focus is sharp, you are able to assess the situation and choose a direction with confidence. Another important factor is clarity of purpose. When you know what you want to achieve, your decisions become easier. You can evaluate options based on how well they align with your goals. This reduces uncertainty and increases confidence. Confidence in decision-making also comes from experience. The more you practice making decisions, the more comfortable you become. You learn from your outcomes, refine your thinking, and build trust in your judgment. Even mistakes become valuable because they provide insight. It is important to remember that no decision is perfect. Waiting for complete certainty can lead to inaction. Instead, focus on making the best decision with the information you have. Once you decide, commit to it. Adjust if necessary, but do not remain stuck in indecision. As you develop your focus and clarity, you will begin to notice a transformation in your mental performance. Your thoughts will become more organized. Your attention will become more stable. Your decisions will become more confident. You will feel less overwhelmed by distractions and more in control of your mind. You will approach tasks with intention and complete them with greater efficiency. You will think more clearly, act more decisively, and perform at a higher level. This transformation is not about doing more. It is about doing better. It is about using your mental energy effectively rather than wasting it on distractions and overthinking. Every moment is an opportunity to train your focus. Every decision is a chance to strengthen your clarity. The more you practice, the stronger your mind becomes. Sharpening your focus and clarity is not just a skill. It is a foundation. It supports everything else you do. It enhances your performance, improves your decision-making, and increases your confidence. Because when your mind is focused and clear, you are not just thinking. You are operating at your highest level. Chapter 6: Controlling your thoughts before they control you. There is a conversation happening in your mind every single day. It never stops. It speaks when you wake up, when you face challenges, when you make decisions, and even when you are alone with your thoughts. This inner dialogue shapes how you see yourself, how you interpret situations, and how you respond to the world around you. It is quiet, but it is powerful. And if you do not learn to control it, it will control you. Most people are not fully aware of how much influence their thoughts have over their lives. They assume their actions are driven by circumstances, but in reality, their actions are driven by what they believe about those circumstances. Your thoughts create your perception, and your perception drives your behavior. This means that the way you talk to yourself determines the way you show up in every situation. Internal dialogue can either empower you or limit you. It can build your confidence or destroy it. It can push you forward or hold you back. When your inner voice is strong, supportive, and focused, it becomes a source of strength. But when it is filled with doubt, fear, and negativity, it becomes a barrier. The challenge is that negative thoughts often feel automatic. They appear without warning, and repeat themselves until they begin to feel like truth. You may think, "I'm not good enough, I might fail," or "this is too difficult." These thoughts are not facts, but they influence your actions as if they were. Over time, they shape your identity and limit your potential. The first step to controlling your thoughts is recognizing their power. Once you understand that your internal dialogue is shaping your reality, you begin to take it seriously. You stop treating your thoughts as random and start seeing them as something you can influence. Identifying negative thought patterns is essential. These patterns are often repetitive and predictable. They may appear in moments of stress, uncertainty, or challenge. You may notice that you tend to doubt yourself before important situations, or that you focus on what could go wrong instead of what could go right. These patterns are not permanent. They are learned. They are formed through past experiences, beliefs, and habits. This means they can be changed. But to change them, you must first become aware of them. Pay attention to the thoughts that arise in different situations. Notice how you speak to yourself. Are your thoughts supportive or critical? Do they encourage action or create hesitation? This awareness allows you to see patterns that were previously automatic. Once you identify these patterns, the next step is to challenge them. Just because a thought appears does not mean it is true. Your mind generates thoughts based on past experiences and emotions, not always on reality. When a negative thought arises, question it. Ask yourself if it is accurate, if it is helpful, and if it is necessary. For example, if you think, "I can't handle this," pause and examine that thought. Is it based on evidence, or is it based on fear? Have you handled similar situations before? What would you say to someone else in the same position? By questioning your thoughts, you weaken their hold over you. Eliminating negative thought patterns does not mean ignoring challenges or pretending everything is easy. It means choosing thoughts that support your growth rather than limit it. It means replacing destructive patterns with constructive ones. Replacing doubt with confidence is a key part of this process. Confidence is not the absence of doubt. It is the ability to act despite it. When you learn to control your thoughts, you reduce the influence of doubt and strengthen your belief in yourself. This does not happen by accident. It requires intentional effort. Each time a negative thought appears, you have the opportunity to replace it with a more empowering one. Instead of thinking, "I might fail," you can think, "I will do my best and learn from the outcome." Instead of, "This is too hard," you can shift to, "This is challenging but I can handle it." These shifts may seem small, but they create a significant impact over time. Your brain begins to adopt these new patterns, and your internal dialogue becomes more supportive. This support strengthens your confidence and encourages action. It is important to understand that confidence is built through repetition. The more you practice positive, empowering thoughts, the more natural they become. Over time, they replace the old patterns and create a new mental framework. Building a mindset that works for you requires consistency. It is not enough to change your thoughts occasionally. You must do it repeatedly, until it becomes a habit. This means being mindful of your internal dialogue throughout the day, and making adjustments when necessary. Your environment can also influence your thoughts. The information you consume, the people you interact with, and the experiences you have all contribute to your mindset. Surround yourself with positive influences that support your growth. Engage with ideas that challenge and inspire you. Action is another important factor. Your thoughts influence your actions, but your actions also influence your thoughts. When you take action, even when you feel uncertain, you build evidence that you are capable. This evidence strengthens your confidence and reinforces positive thinking. For example, if you doubt your ability to handle a situation, taking action proves to your mind that you can. Each success, no matter how small, builds momentum. This momentum shifts your internal dialogue from doubt to belief. It is also important to be patient with yourself. Changing your thought patterns takes time. There will be moments when old habits resurface. This is normal. The goal is not perfection but progress. Each time you become aware and choose a better thought, you are moving forward. As you continue this process, you will begin to notice a transformation. Your thoughts will become more supportive, your confidence will grow, and your actions will become more aligned with your goals. You will feel more in control of your mind, and less influenced by negative patterns. This transformation extends beyond your internal experience. It affects how you interact with the world. You will approach challenges with a different mindset. You will respond to situations with greater clarity and confidence. You will become more resilient and adaptable. Controlling your thoughts does not mean eliminating all negativity. It means managing it. It means recognizing when negative thoughts arise, and choosing not to let them dominate your thinking. It means directing your focus toward what is helpful and constructive. Your mind is one of the most powerful tools you have. When it works against you, it creates limitations. But when it works for you, it creates possibilities. The difference lies in how you manage your thoughts. You have the ability to shape your internal dialogue. You can choose thoughts that empower you, that support your growth, and that align with your goals. This choice may not always feel easy, but it is always available. As you develop this skill, you will realize that you are not a victim of your thoughts. You are the one who can guide them. You are the one who can decide which thoughts to follow and which to release. This is where true control begins. Not in controlling external circumstances, but in controlling your internal world. Because when you control your thoughts, you control your actions. And when you control your actions, you shape your outcomes. Chapter 7: Strategic Thinking in High-Stakes Situations. There are moments in life when the stakes are high, the pressure is intense, and the margin for error feels small. In these moments, your ability to think clearly becomes your greatest asset. While most people become overwhelmed, reactive, and uncertain, those who can remain focused and strategic gain a powerful advantage. They do not just react to situations. They navigate them with intention, precision, and control. Strategic thinking is not reserved for experts or leaders. It is a skill that can be developed. It is the ability to step back, assess a situation, and make decisions based on clarity rather than emotion. It is what allows you to operate effectively when others are losing control. When pressure is high, your mind naturally wants to speed up. Thoughts race, emotions intensify, and your focus narrows. This can create a sense of urgency that pushes you toward quick decisions. While speed can be useful, it becomes dangerous when it replaces clarity. Acting quickly without thinking clearly often leads to mistakes. To think clearly under pressure, you must first slow down internally. This does not mean delaying action unnecessarily. It means creating mental space. It means allowing yourself a moment to process what is happening, rather than reacting immediately. Your breath plays an important role in this process. When you consciously slow your breathing, you calm your nervous system. This reduces the intensity of your emotional response and allows your mind to function more effectively. Even a few seconds of controlled breathing can create enough space for clear thinking to emerge. Clarity begins with awareness. You must understand what is actually happening in the situation. This requires separating facts from assumptions. Under pressure, your mind may exaggerate risks, focus on worst-case scenarios, or create unnecessary urgency. These distortions can cloud your judgment. By focusing on the facts, you ground yourself in reality. What is the actual problem? What information do you have? What is within your control? These questions help you cut through confusion and bring your attention to what matters. Avoiding impulsive decisions is one of the most important aspects of strategic thinking. Impulses are driven by emotion. They are quick, automatic, and often short-sighted. While they may feel urgent, they are not always aligned with your best interests. Impulsive decisions often come from a desire to relieve discomfort. When a situation feels stressful or uncertain, your mind looks for a quick way to resolve it. This can lead to actions that provide immediate relief, but create long-term problems. To avoid this, you must learn to tolerate discomfort. You must be willing to sit with uncertainty for a moment, rather than rushing to escape it. This requires discipline, but it allows you to make decisions based on logic rather than emotion. One effective way to manage impulses is to create a pause before acting. This pause gives you time to evaluate your options. It allows you to consider the consequences of your actions and choose the best path forward. Strategic thinking also involves breaking down complex situations into manageable parts. When a situation feels overwhelming, it is often because you are trying to process too much at once. Complexity creates confusion, and confusion leads to poor decisions. By simplifying the situation, you regain clarity. Identify the key elements. What are the main factors involved? What are the possible outcomes? What steps can you take? Breaking the situation into smaller parts makes it easier to understand and manage. This process allows you to focus on one aspect at a time. Instead of being overwhelmed by the entire situation, you address each part individually. This reduces stress and increases your ability to think clearly. As you break down the situation, it is important to prioritize. Not all factors are equally important. Some decisions have a greater impact than others. By identifying what matters most, you can direct your attention and energy more effectively. Prioritization helps you avoid unnecessary distractions. It keeps you focused on what will create the greatest impact. This focus is essential for making strategic decisions. Acting with precision instead of panic is what separates effective thinkers from reactive ones. Precision means being deliberate. It means choosing your actions carefully and executing them with clarity. Panic, on the other hand, leads to rushed and scattered actions. It creates mistakes, confusion, and unnecessary complications. When you act out of panic, you are not fully in control. To act with precision, you must remain grounded. You must trust your ability to handle the situation. This trust comes from preparation, experience, and a strong mindset. Confidence plays a crucial role here. When you believe in your ability to navigate challenges, you are less likely to panic. You approach situations with a sense of control rather than fear. This allows you to think more clearly and act more effectively. It is also important to accept that not every decision will be perfect. Strategic thinking is not about eliminating risk entirely. It is about making the best possible decision with the information available. Waiting for perfect certainty can lead to inaction. Instead, focus on making informed decisions and adjusting as needed. This flexibility allows you to adapt to changing circumstances and refine your approach. As you develop this skill, you will begin to notice a shift in how you handle high-stakes situations. You will feel less overwhelmed and more in control. Your thoughts will become more organized, and your decisions more confident. You will start to see pressure as a challenge rather than a threat. You will approach situations with a clear mind and a strategic perspective. This shift transforms your performance and your results. Strategic thinking is not about being emotionless. It is about managing your emotions so they do not interfere with your thinking. It is about using your mind effectively, even when the stakes are high. Every high-pressure situation is an opportunity to practice this skill. Each time you choose to slow down, to think clearly, and to act with precision, you strengthen your ability. Over time, this becomes your default. You no longer need to force yourself to think strategically. It becomes natural. You approach situations with clarity, confidence, and control. This is the power of a trained mind. It allows you to navigate complexity, handle pressure, and make decisions that lead to success. Because in the moments that matter most, it is not just what you do that determines the outcome. It is how you think. Chapter 8: Reading Situations and People Instantly. There is a powerful skill that separates those who move through life with confidence from those who constantly feel uncertain. It is the ability to read situations and people instantly. It is the awareness to walk into any environment and understand what is happening beneath the surface. It is the ability to sense energy, recognize patterns, and respond with precision. Most people move through situations reacting blindly. They focus only on what is obvious, what is spoken, what is directly in front of them. But beneath every interaction, there are signals, cues, and dynamics that reveal far more than words alone. When you learn to see these, you gain a powerful advantage. You stop guessing. You start understanding. Every environment has a language of its own. It is expressed through body language, tone, energy, and subtle interactions. The way people stand, the way they speak, the way they respond to one another all carry meaning. These are social and environmental cues, and they are constantly communicating information. Understanding these cues begins with observation. Not passive observation, but intentional awareness. When you enter a situation, instead of immediately focusing on yourself or what you are going to say, take a moment to observe. Notice how people are interacting. Who is leading the conversation? Who is holding back? Who seems confident and who seems uncertain? These details provide insight into the dynamics at play. Body language is one of the most revealing aspects of human behavior. It often communicates what words do not. A person may say they are comfortable, but their posture, their movements, or their expressions may suggest otherwise. When you pay attention to these signals, you begin to see beyond the surface. Tone of voice is equally important. The way something is said often carries more meaning than the words themselves. A calm, steady tone can indicate confidence, while a tense or hurried tone may suggest discomfort or stress. By listening carefully, you can pick up on these nuances and adjust your approach accordingly. The environment itself also provides valuable information. Is the atmosphere relaxed or tense? Is the conversation flowing naturally, or does it feel forced? These elements shape how people behave and how you should respond. When you are aware of the environment, you can align your energy with it or shift it when necessary. Reading situations quickly requires you to process information efficiently. This does not mean rushing or making assumptions. It means focusing on key signals and interpreting them with clarity. Your goal is not to analyze every detail, but to understand the overall picture. To do this effectively, you must simplify your thinking. Instead of overanalyzing, focus on patterns. What is the general mood? What are the main dynamics? What stands out? By identifying these patterns, you can quickly assess the situation and determine how to act. Accuracy comes from combining observation with experience. The more you practice reading situations, the better you become at recognizing patterns. Over time, your ability to interpret cues becomes more intuitive. You begin to sense what is happening, without needing to consciously analyze every detail. One of the most valuable aspects of this skill is the ability to anticipate reactions and outcomes. When you understand how people think and behave, you can predict how they are likely to respond. This allows you to act proactively rather than reactively. For example, if you notice that someone is becoming defensive, you can adjust your tone and approach to prevent escalation. If you sense hesitation, you can provide clarity or reassurance. If you recognize enthusiasm, you can build on it. This ability to anticipate creates a sense of control. Anticipation is not about being perfect. It is about being prepared. It allows you to stay one step ahead, to adapt your actions based on what is likely to happen. This reduces uncertainty and increases your confidence. Adapting your mindset to any environment is the next level of this skill. It is not enough to understand a situation. You must also adjust your approach to fit it. This requires flexibility and awareness. Every environment has its own expectations and dynamics. What works in one situation may not work in another. Being able to adapt means adjusting your tone, your behavior, and your communication style to align with the environment. For example, in a high-energy environment, you may need to match that energy to connect effectively. In a more serious or formal setting, a calm and composed approach may be more appropriate. The key is to remain authentic while adjusting your expression. This adaptability does not mean losing yourself. It means being aware of what is required and responding in a way that creates the best outcome. It is a form of intelligence that allows you to navigate different situations with ease. Your mindset plays a crucial role in this process. When you approach situations with openness and curiosity, you are more likely to notice important details. You are less focused on your own thoughts and more engaged with what is happening around you. Confidence also enhances your ability to read situations. When you are confident, you are not consumed by self-doubt or anxiety. This allows you to observe more clearly and respond more effectively. You are present, focused, and aware. Presence is the foundation of this skill. You cannot read situations effectively if your mind is elsewhere. Being fully present allows you to pick up on subtle cues and respond in real time. It sharpens your awareness and enhances your ability to connect. As you develop this ability, you will begin to notice changes in how you experience interactions. Situations that once felt unpredictable will become more understandable. You will feel more in control because you are no longer guessing. You are reading, interpreting, and responding with intention. You will also find that your confidence grows. When you understand what is happening around you, you feel more prepared. You are less likely to be caught off guard. You are able to navigate situations with clarity and ease. This skill is not about manipulation. It is about understanding. It is about connecting with people and environments in a way that allows you to respond effectively. It is about being aware of the dynamics that shape interactions. Every interaction is an opportunity to practice. Every situation provides new information. The more you observe, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more intuitive this process becomes. Over time, reading situations and people becomes second nature. You no longer need to think about it consciously. You simply understand. You sense. You respond. This is where true control begins. Not in controlling others, but in understanding them. Not in forcing outcomes, but in guiding them. Because when you can read situations instantly, you are no longer reacting to the world. You are moving through it with awareness, confidence, and precision. Chapter 9: Building Confidence That Cannot Be Shaken. There is a quiet power that transforms how you walk, how you speak, how you decide, and how you respond to the world. It is not loud, it is not forced, and it does not depend on external validation. It is confidence. But not just any confidence. This is the kind of confidence that does not break under pressure, that does not disappear when things go wrong, and that does not rely on perfect conditions. This is unshakable confidence. Most people misunderstand what confidence really is. They see it as something external, something visible in posture, tone, or boldness. They associate it with charisma, success, or recognition. But these are only expressions of confidence, not the source. True confidence is internal. It is a state of belief in yourself, in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. The psychology of true confidence is rooted in self-trust. It is not about believing that you will always succeed. It is about knowing that you can handle the outcome, whatever it may be. This distinction is important. When your confidence depends on success, it becomes fragile. But when it is based on your ability to adapt, learn, and continue, it becomes strong. Confidence is built through experience. Each time you face a challenge, take action, and navigate the outcome, you gather evidence about yourself. This evidence shapes your belief. When you consistently act despite uncertainty, you begin to trust your ability. This trust becomes the foundation of confidence. There is also a difference between internal and external confidence. External confidence is what people see. It is the way you present yourself, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself. It can be influenced by appearance, environment, or social feedback. While it is important, it is not enough on its own. Internal confidence is what you feel. It is your belief in your own worth and capability. It is not dependent on how others perceive you. It remains stable even when external conditions change. This is the type of confidence that cannot be shaken. When you rely only on external confidence, you become vulnerable. If someone criticizes you, your confidence drops. If you fail, your confidence disappears. But when your confidence is internal, it remains steady. You can receive feedback, face setbacks, and still maintain your belief in yourself. Building internal confidence requires you to shift your focus. Instead of seeking validation from others, you begin to validate yourself. You recognize your efforts, your progress, and your growth. You stop measuring your worth based on external outcomes and start valuing your ability to act and adapt. One of the biggest obstacles to confidence is the fear of judgment. This fear can be subtle or overwhelming, but it affects how you show up. It causes hesitation, self-doubt, and the need to seek approval. You may hold back your thoughts, avoid taking risks, or second-guess your decisions. The truth is that fear of judgment is based on perception, not reality. It is your mind imagining how others might see you and attaching significance to it. But most people are focused on themselves, their own concerns, and their own perceptions. The judgment you fear is often far less intense than you imagine. To eliminate this fear, you must change your perspective. Instead of focusing on how others see you, focus on how you see yourself. Ask yourself whether your actions align with your values, your goals, and your intentions. When you shift your focus inward, the influence of external judgment decreases. It is also important to accept that judgment is inevitable. No matter what you do, there will always be opinions. Trying to avoid judgment completely is impossible. But you can choose how much power it has over you. When you stop fearing judgment, you free yourself to act with confidence. Fear of failure is another barrier that limits confidence. Many people associate failure with loss, embarrassment, or inadequacy. This creates hesitation and avoidance. They choose safety over growth, comfort over progress. But failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of it. Every successful person has faced setbacks, mistakes, and challenges. What separates them is not the absence of failure, but their response to it. When you redefine failure as feedback, your mindset changes. You begin to see it as an opportunity to learn, to improve, and to grow. This reduces fear and increases your willingness to take action. Confidence grows when you face challenges, not when you avoid them. Showing up with certainty in every situation does not mean you always know the outcome. It means you trust yourself regardless of the outcome. It means you approach situations with clarity, composure, and belief in your ability to handle whatever arises. Certainty comes from preparation and mindset. When you prepare yourself mentally and emotionally, you reduce uncertainty. You know that you have the tools, the awareness, and the ability to respond effectively. Your body language and tone also play a role in expressing confidence. When you stand upright, maintain eye contact, and speak with clarity, you reinforce your internal belief. These external signals not only influence how others perceive you, but also how you feel about yourself. Confidence is also strengthened through consistency. Each time you act with confidence, you reinforce the habit. Each time you face a challenge and respond effectively, you build trust in yourself. Over time, this consistency creates a stable foundation. It is important to remember that confidence is not about perfection. You will have moments of doubt, uncertainty, and discomfort. This is natural. What matters is how you respond to these moments. Do you retreat, or do you move forward? Moving forward despite doubt is what builds unshakable confidence. It shows you that you are capable of acting even when things are not certain. It strengthens your belief and reduces the power of fear. As you develop this confidence, you will notice a shift in how you experience situations. You will feel more in control, more capable, and more willing to take action. You will approach challenges with a sense of readiness rather than fear. Your interactions with others will also change. You will communicate more clearly, express your ideas more confidently, and engage with greater presence. People will respond to this energy. They will see your confidence and reflect it back to you. Unshakable confidence is not built overnight. It is a process. It requires awareness, effort, and persistence. But each step you take strengthens your foundation. You begin by recognizing your worth. You continue by taking action despite fear. You grow by learning from your experiences. And over time, you build a confidence that does not depend on external conditions. This confidence becomes part of who you are. It influences how you think, how you act, and how you respond to the world. It allows you to navigate challenges with clarity and composure. Because when your confidence is unshakable, you are not easily influenced by fear, doubt, or judgment. You remain steady. You remain focused. You remain in control. And that is where true power lies. Chapter 10. Becoming mentally dominant in everyday life. There comes a point where everything you have learned stops being theory and becomes part of how you live. It is no longer something you think about occasionally or apply only in big moments. It becomes your default way of thinking, reacting, and moving through the world. This is where true mental dominance begins. Mental dominance is not about controlling others. It is about mastering yourself. It is about having control over your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions in a way that allows you to operate at your highest level, no matter the situation. It is the ability to stay calm under pressure, think clearly in chaos, and act with confidence when others hesitate. The true test of mental strength is not in rare, high-stakes moments. It is in everyday life. It is in how you handle small frustrations, how you respond to unexpected challenges, and how you show up in ordinary situations. These moments may seem insignificant, but they are where habits are formed and where your mindset is reinforced. Applying mental strategies in real-life scenarios begins with awareness. You must recognize when you are being tested. It could be a difficult conversation, a stressful deadline, or a moment of uncertainty. These are opportunities to apply what you have learned. Instead of reacting automatically, you pause. You become aware of your thoughts and emotions. You choose how to respond. This shift from reaction to intention is what separates mental dominance from mental weakness. For example, when faced with pressure, your instinct may be to rush, to panic, or to doubt yourself. But when you apply your training, you slow down. You control your breathing. You focus on what matters. You act with clarity. This transforms the situation. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable. Turning pressure into opportunity is one of the most powerful aspects of mental dominance. Most people see pressure as something negative, something to avoid. But pressure is often a sign that something important is happening. It is a chance to perform, to grow, and to prove your ability. When you change your perception of pressure, your response changes. Instead of resisting it, you embrace it. You see it as a challenge rather than a threat. This mindset allows you to use pressure as fuel. It sharpens your focus, increases your energy, and pushes you to operate at a higher level. Every time you face pressure and handle it effectively, you build confidence. You prove to yourself that you are capable. This creates a positive cycle. The more you handle pressure, the more confident you become. The more confident you become, the better you handle pressure. Creating habits that strengthen your mind daily is essential for long-term growth. Mental strength is not built in isolated moments. It is built through consistent practice. Each day provides opportunities to reinforce your mindset. Small actions have a powerful impact. Choosing to stay calm in a frustrating situation, focusing on a task without distraction, or pushing through discomfort all contribute to your mental strength. These actions may seem minor, but they accumulate over time. Consistency is key. It is not about being perfect. It is about showing up every day and making intentional choices. Each choice strengthens your mind. Each effort builds resilience. Over time, these habits become automatic. Your morning routine can set the tone for your day. Starting your day with intention, clarity, and focus creates momentum. It prepares your mind to handle challenges and stay in control. Similarly, reflecting on your day allows you to learn and improve. It helps you identify what worked and what needs adjustment. Discipline is a central part of this process. It is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you do not feel like it. Discipline strengthens your mind by reinforcing control over your actions. It reduces the influence of emotions and increases consistency. Living with control, clarity, and confidence is the result of these habits. Control means you are not driven by impulse. You make decisions based on intention. Clarity means you understand situations and respond effectively. Confidence means you trust yourself regardless of the outcome. These qualities are interconnected. Control enhances clarity. Clarity strengthens confidence. Confidence reinforces control. Together, they create a powerful state of mind. As you develop mental dominance, you will notice changes in how you experience life. Situations that once felt stressful will feel manageable. Challenges that once caused hesitation will feel like opportunities. Your reactions will become more measured, your decisions more precise, and your actions more effective. You will also notice a shift in your identity. You will begin to see yourself as someone who is capable, resilient, and in control. This self-perception influences your behavior. It reinforces your mindset and strengthens your actions. Mental dominance is not about avoiding difficulty. It is about facing it with strength. It is about navigating uncertainty with confidence. It is about maintaining control even when things do not go as planned. There will be moments when you are tested. Situations where pressure is high, emotions are intense, and the outcome is uncertain. These moments are not obstacles. They are opportunities to apply your training. Each time you respond with control, clarity, and confidence, you reinforce your mental strength. You prove to yourself that you are capable. This builds momentum. It creates a foundation that cannot be easily shaken. It is important to remember that this journey is ongoing. Mental dominance is not a destination. It is a process. It requires continuous effort, awareness, and growth. But with each step, you become stronger. You begin to trust yourself more. You become more comfortable with uncertainty. You handle challenges with greater ease. You operate with a sense of control that influences every aspect of your life. This is the power of a trained mind. It allows you to move through life with intention. It gives you the ability to handle any situation with confidence. It transforms how you think, how you act, and how you respond. Every day is an opportunity to strengthen this power. Every moment is a chance to practice. The more you engage with these principles, the more they become part of you. And when they become part of you, you no longer need to think about them consciously. They become natural. They become automatic. They become who you are. This is what it means to become mentally dominant. It is not about controlling the world around you. It is about mastering the world within you. And once you achieve that, there is very little that can stand in your way. Conclusion: the power of a trained mind. There is a quiet transformation that takes place when you begin to train your mind. It does not happen all at once. It builds gradually, through awareness, through practice, and through the choices you make every single day. At first, the changes may feel small. You pause a little longer before reacting. You stay a little calmer under pressure. You think a little more clearly in moments that once overwhelmed you. But over time, these small changes compound into something powerful. You begin to realize that your mind is no longer working against you. It is working for you. This is the true power of a trained mind. It is not about controlling every situation or eliminating every challenge. It is about changing how you experience those situations. It is about becoming someone who can navigate uncertainty with confidence, handle pressure with composure, and act with clarity even when things feel intense. Mental mastery transforms your life from the inside out. It changes how you think, and because of that, it changes how you act. When your thoughts are focused and intentional, your actions become more precise. When your actions are consistent and controlled, your results begin to improve. You start to notice that situations which once felt difficult are no longer as overwhelming. Challenges that once created stress now feel manageable. You approach problems with a different mindset, one that is grounded, calm, and solution-focused. Instead of reacting impulsively, you respond with purpose. This transformation extends beyond your internal experience. It affects how others perceive you. When you are calm under pressure, people trust you. When you think clearly, people listen to you. When you act with confidence, people respect you. Your presence changes, and with it your influence. The long-term impact of staying calm, sharp, and in control cannot be overstated. These qualities compound over time. Each moment of control strengthens your confidence. Each decision made with clarity builds your trust in yourself. Each challenge handled with composure reinforces your resilience. Over time, this creates a powerful identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who can handle anything. This belief shapes your behavior. It encourages you to take on challenges, to step into opportunities, and to push beyond your comfort zone. This is how growth accelerates. Not through sudden breakthroughs, but through consistent intentional actions. The more you practice staying calm, the more natural it becomes. The more you sharpen your focus, the clearer your thinking becomes. The more you control your thoughts, the stronger your mindset becomes. Eventually, these qualities become part of who you are. You no longer need to remind yourself to stay composed or to think clearly. It becomes automatic. It becomes your default. You become someone who thrives in any situation. Thriving does not mean that life becomes easy. It means that you become capable. It means that regardless of what happens, you have the ability to respond effectively. You are not dependent on perfect conditions. You are not shaken by unexpected challenges. You adapt, you adjust, and you move forward. This ability gives you freedom. Freedom from fear, from doubt, and from the limitations that once held you back. You are no longer controlled by your emotions or your circumstances. You are in control of yourself. And this is where your true advantage lies. Your mind is your greatest advantage. It is the one thing that influences everything else. It shapes your decisions, your actions, your relationships, and your outcomes. When your mind is strong, focused, and disciplined, everything else begins to align. But this advantage is not automatic. It must be developed. It must be trained. It must be strengthened through consistent effort. This is your responsibility, and it is also your opportunity. Every day presents a chance to practice. Every situation, no matter how small, is an opportunity to strengthen your mental discipline. When you feel pressure, choose calmness. When you feel distraction, choose focus. When you feel doubt, choose confidence. These choices may seem simple, but they are powerful. They shape your habits, and your habits shape your life. There will be moments when it feels difficult. Moments when your mind resists, when old patterns resurface, and when control feels challenging. This is part of the process. Growth is not linear. It requires persistence. What matters is that you continue, that you remain committed to your development, that you keep practicing even when it is not easy. Because every effort you make is building something greater. It is strengthening your mind, sharpening your focus, and reinforcing your ability to stay in control. Over time, these efforts create a foundation that cannot be easily shaken. A foundation of clarity, confidence, and resilience. And from this foundation you can build anything. You can pursue your goals with confidence. You can handle challenges with composure. You can navigate uncertainty with clarity. You can create opportunities where others see obstacles. This is the power of a trained mind. It is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming better. It is about continuously improving, continuously learning, and continuously growing. As you move forward, remember that your mind is always with you. It is your greatest tool, your greatest resource, and your greatest ally. How you train it will determine how you experience your life. So take control of it. Strengthen it. Sharpen it. And use it to become the person you are capable of being. Because when your mind is trained, your potential is limitless. Thank you for reading this book. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to leave us a review. TM Light. Disclaimer. This book was created with the assistance of artificial intelligence. While every effort was made to ensure the accuracy and relevance of the content, readers should note that this cannot be considered professional advice. Readers are encouraged to apply their own judgment and consult experts where needed.